Happy birthday to me. Happy birthday to me. Today I turn 29 and nobody cares. Greetings and welcome to the Fan Perspective. I'm your host Nathan Allen, and this is the very first episode of WNBA Weekly for the 2019 season. It could also potentially be the very last episode, I don't know for sure. Now, for those of you who don't know what WNBA Weekly is, on Mondays I will stand in front of this camera and just spend 10 to 15 minutes talking about things that have happened recently in the association. I'm not going to do it every single week just because I've got a lot going on in my life. I don't always have time to just pay attention to the league as much as I'd like to. I'm trying to get a book published. I've got 2 comic books that I'm currently paying people to draw for me. So there's a lot happening in my life right now. That being said, whenever possible, I will gladly stand here and make some of these videos. This one is about the power rankings. I'm going to rank every team from worst to first, and this ranking isn't just I think this team is going to win the championship, so I'm putting them number 1. That is one of the factors, but there are also other things involved, mainly of like, did they get better this offseason? What did they lose? What did they gain? Weighing that versus, do I actually think they'll be able to consistently beat some of these top teams? Not to mention, I am in no way affiliated, associated, or anything else with the WNBA or their sponsors or any of that other bullshit. These are all just the opinions of one man who's been a fan for over a decade now and has grown to really love and appreciate this league, and I just feel like putting my opinions out there. So when the video's over, feel free to leave a comment down below telling me every way that you thought I was wrong. So with that in mind, let's just jump into it. We are starting at number 12 with the only team that I would actually be shocked if they made it into the playoffs, the Indiana Fever. And for those of you who were here last year, this comes as no shock. This is the same spot they had last year. And look, they're a talented team, but they are in rebuild mode, and I just don't expect them to turn the corner right now. It'll happen someday, just not this year. They've definitely got a lot of talent. They got a good head coach in Pokey Chapman. They drafted Tiara McCowan, very talented center. They've got some young players that have been developing, like Ochan or Wheeler, the Tiffany and Kelsey Mitchell. But they also lost Cappy Pondexter to retirement. She was a big help for them when she came on late in the season. They also lose Victoria Vivian. She's out for the year. She got injured overseas, and now this is a team that, once again, the talent is there. There is potential. I don't feel like it's going to happen quite yet. I think they're going to have one more lottery season, and then maybe make at least make an attempt next year. Can't guarantee for sure that they'll get in next year, but I think they'll have a much better chance than they do right now. Next on the list, if you know anything about me, this should come about as no shock. I put the Dallas Wings. And now look, they got a brand new head coach. Yes, it's Brian Agler. Yes, he's won championships with a couple different teams. But he's starting this season without the 2 best players. Liz Cambage just got traded. Skylar Diggins, we don't know if she's actually going to be able to play at all this season. She's going to try, but we don't have any timeline for her. It's just one of those we'll see what happens sort of situations. So we could see her play, but there's no guarantee of it one way or the other. And there is a lot of young talent there, but can Alicia Gray step up into that Skylar Diggins role? Is Bon going to be sufficient enough? Do they have the depth to make it happen? They also lose Karima Christmas Kelly, who's a great defender. She's been a key to their success for these few years. Lori Johnson's getting older, but they do have some young developing stars like Isabel Harrison and Azurá Stevens. There is talent there. There is potential there. And this is one of those teams that, honestly, 5 through 11, those are teams that I wouldn't be shocked to see them get in. I wouldn't be shocked to see them in the lottery. I put the Wings at 11 because they're one of those teams that I would be more shocked to see them win than I would be to see them lose. Then we're moving on to number 10, and if I haven't already pissed off some people, this is where it happens, because I'm putting the defending champions, Seattle Storm, in the lottery. Look, the MVP, Brianna Stewart, hurt, out for the year. Head coach Dan Hughes, battling cancer. We wish him the best, I really do. I hope he comes back. But you lose two huge components to your success. You got to expect a bumpy road ahead. Yes, I know they still have Sue Bird, and even in the twilight of her career, she's been playing lights out. But like when you look at her assist numbers, which throughout the regular season are her biggest contribution, these last few years, guess who has been scoring on the majority of those assists? Stewie. It's a big hole to fill. I don't know if they have enough talent on the roster to make up for what they lose with her being out. And Kloppenberg is a great coach. I do respect him, which is one of the reasons why they're not dead last right now. This is a team that I would not be shocked to see them in the playoffs, but I can't expect it. I think there's a lot depending on Jewel Lloyd right now. Can she have a Diana Taurasi type of season? Because I know last year, Jewel, they started 5-1, and on all 5 of those wins, she had 30 points. Can she give that kind of production for the entire season? I feel like that's basically what they are depending on right now. Next up, we got the New York Liberty. I felt like I was taking a risk saying they wouldn't be in the playoffs last year, but they proved me right. And I still feel like I'm taking a risk by saying they won't be in the playoffs this year. Look, you got Tina Charles, an MVP. When she's on the roster, you have a chance. Problem is, they need help. Defense was solid last year, and they added Tanisha Wright back, which is another good boost. They've got some scoring options. Kia Nurse entering in her second year. They had a good draft. I just have trouble believing in them. It's just one of those teams that, honestly, I flipped a coin between 8 and 9. The team that in 8th and the team in 9th, I literally just flipped the coin to decide who gets which spot. Because both of these teams are in a position where, yes, the talent is there and they have the opportunity to do something, but I kind of want to see something first before I can say that I actually believe in you. Which brings us to the number 8 team, the Chicago Sky. And look, I've been a fan of the Sky for a while. I've been rooting for them, but these last couple seasons, there are some good things going on though, like Courtney Vandersloot is in training camp. You don't usually see that. And I've said her appearance is, her presence on the team is possibly the most important. You know, if she and Dolson can be all-stars, if they can get contributions from some of their young players like the Shields, new draft pick, Katie Lou Samuelson, and of course Quigley again. You know, but they definitely have a shot. They've got strength at every position and they've got good depth as well. It's just, it hasn't been translating to production, and I still have questions about their defense. But I like what I'm seeing so far. I like some of the training camp videos I've seen. Coach Wade seems like he knows what he's doing. I feel confident enough in them that I don't mind putting them at the very bottom of the playoff standings. But once again, just like the Liberty, I want to actually see something first before I can say, oh yes, I 100% believe in you. Next up at number 7, we've got the Minnesota Lynx, and it's the end of an era. Lindsay Whalen has retired. Maya Moore is choosing to sit out the season. And right now, last I heard, Rebecca Bunchen hasn't shown up. I don't know what's going on there. But, you know, that big 4 that's been there for every single championship, one of them is left, Simone Augustus, and she's been aging. She's not as productive as she used to be, but you still got Big Sil, and so this is a team that's in a position where, you know, they've got Sylvia, who was an MVP not that long ago, you know, so they can run offense through her. They've got solid defenders. You've got a culture of winning and a proven head coach. I think definitely a team that I would be more shocked to see them not in the playoffs. You know, I think they are solid. They don't scare me, but they are solid. Then you've got the Connecticut Sun, And I'm not sure how to feel about this team, honestly. Huge fan of Kurt Miller, great GM. They got rid of Chineye Gumake, but there's also a possibility that that'll help, addition by subtraction. You know, they had a crowded field over there. There's a lot of talent all over the place. They've still got all-stars all over their lineup with Jasmine Thomas, Alyssa Thomas, Jonquel Jones, Courtney Williams, and they've got a lot of decent players on their bench too. So I'm looking forward to seeing what they do. I feel like Kurt Miller, I have enough faith in him as a coach that, you know, whatever he has to work with, he'll do something with it. And he's got plenty to work with here. Now we move on to the number 5 team, which is basically the exact same category as the other team. I expect solid effort all year long, and I think this team should stay above 500 most of the time. That being said, it wouldn't be the biggest shock in the world to see them fall to 9th place because they have a late season drought, or they started off so bad that even a huge surge at the end, they still fall just short. But I expect them to play fairly well most of the year. At number 5, the Los Angeles Sparks. This is a fantastic team. You got 4 All-Stars in the starting lineup. You got 3 first overall draft picks. 3 first overall draft picks, and 2 of them have won MVP. They've also made efforts to improve their three-point shooting these past couple of years. They got a lot of players on their bench that have range. They've added some size in the draft as well with Kalani Brown, and I think she's going to be huge when you consider all of the huge players that are out there, the Brittany Griners, the Sylvia Fowles, and the Liz Cambazias of the world. I think you need players like Kalani. I think she does have what it takes. I'm not saying she's going to shut any of them down this year, but it's good. It's a good player to have on your roster. And now we've got the top 4 teams in the league. These are teams that I definitely expect to be competing for championships. Teams that I would 100% be shocked to see them not make the playoffs. I would be shocked if at any point this season they were under 500. Unless maybe they started 0-1, because that happens sometimes. We'll start with number 4, the Phoenix Mercury, and the only reason they're this low is because Diana Taurasi is missing the start of the season. She's probably not going to come back till after the All-Star break. But that being said, you know, on the one hand, she's not carrying the team like she used to. On the other hand, she's still Diana fucking Taurasi. Even if she's not the main go-to person, she's still a very effective and impactful playmaker. They're going to miss her intensity on the floor. And she's very clutch in key moments. That being said, I still expect this team to be well. Brittany Griner, when she's healthy, she's an MVP candidate. And honestly, I think the last couple of seasons, the only reason she hasn't gotten MVP has just been the fact that she's been getting hurt. You've got an all-star in Brittany Griner, an all-star in Dewana Bonner, and they've shored up their defense with last year with the additions like Sancho Little and Brianne January. They've got a pretty decent bench. I won't say amazing. It looks better than it has in some years. It's also fairly young. They've got some new talent that we got to see how they develop, but I like what I'm seeing so far. The potential is there, and this is a team, they look scary. They've got size, they've got athleticism, they've got experience, they've got solid defense, and they've got shooters. Next up, we have at number 3, the Washington Mystics, and this was a team that was potentially a Deladon injury away from winning it all. And that's the biggest reason I put them this low, because health has always been an issue. It's something Deladon has struggled with throughout her entire career. The one year that she was actually healthy, she managed to win MVP. So her health is a huge factor. And not to mention, Christy Tolliver kind of disappeared when the team needed her most. Just saying, she vanished late in the playoffs. I'm just saying. Well, they lose a key player in Tiara Ruffin Pratt, but they managed to hang on to Natasha Cloud, who really came on last year. She's been developing into a fantastic playmaker, could potentially be an all-star this season. You've also got the return of all-star Emma Mieseman. Not to mention a head coach in Mike Tebow. One of the longest tenured coach in the league. A lot of respect for that man, and I'm gonna say it. Even if he didn't have stars on his team, I would expect him to be in the playoffs every year. It would be shocking to see a Mike Thibault team not make the playoffs, especially when we've got an MVP in Deladon and a champion in Tolliver. Regular season, I feel like they're gonna own it. That being said, I'm going to put an asterisk next to this because playoffs are a whole different ballgame. I don't know if they're ready to win in the postseason, but they will get to the postseason. That's a definite yes. Next up at number 2, and I will say this team was number 1 5 days ago, the Atlanta Dream. This is a team that honestly had a shot of winning it all last year without their star player in Angel McCowan, who potentially might still miss this entire season. Not sure. It depends on how her injury develops. We might see her, we might not. But even without her, the scary part is she might easily be one of the best players to ever suit up for that franchise. And yet they still have a legitimate shot at the title even without her. Now, people like Tiffany Hayes, Brittany Sykes, and Elizabeth Williams, they've all stepped up and they've really developed into solid core players. Nikki Collin has proven to be a great coaching mind, good motivator. She's got them playing solid defense. And once again, this is a team that if at any point in this season they are under 500, it will be a shock. Number 1 on my preseason power rankings, I am of course putting the Las Vegas Aces. But before I say anything else, let me just say I'm a little biased. I started watching the WNBA in the first place because I found out San Antonio had a team. When they moved to Vegas, part of me didn't want to root for them because I was a little bit hurt that my team left me. But at the same time, I spent so many years rooting for this team, even when they were bad. And this is gonna be my team. If we get a San Antonio team, then sorry Vegas, I gotta root for my hometown. But for now, I'm sticking with Vegas for personal reasons, even if they weren't gonna be good. But oh God, they are gonna be so good! Last year you had Asia Wilson with one of the best rookie seasons ever, maybe second only to Candace Parker, who won MVP her rookie year. Oh, did we also forget that Liz Cambage broke the record for points in a game last season? You got 2 incredibly talented, versatile bigs at 6'5" and 6'8", who can post you up inside, but also shoot the 3 right over you. That's not even to include the rest of the talent on this roster. You've got a starting lineup that's all lottery picks. 3 number 1 overalls, a number 2 overall, and a number 3 overall. Kayla McBride was in the 3-point shootout last year, so she's a good all-star with a lot of range. Kelsey Plum, she came in known for scoring. And I don't know if you remember me saying this, but after her rookie year, I pointed out the fact that Kelsey, she's had 20-point games, she's had 10 assist games. If she can ever learn how to do both, then she will be truly dangerous. She did that last year. She had a 20-point, 10 assist game. I cannot say I expect them to win 30 games, but I would not be shocked if they did. I'd also not be shocked if they're held under 20. I feel like they could potentially have some growing pains. I'd put them here not necessarily because I think they're going to finish number 1 in the standings or I think they're going to win a championship, but because this team more than any other has made so many improvements, even without any movements in free agency, just the internal growth from these young players continuing to develop their bodies and their minds and just continuing to improve, that alone would have made them scary. Then on top of that, you trade to get Liz fucking Cambage. Are you kidding me? I'm not quite all in on Vegas. I'm not going to bet the mortgage or anything, mostly because I don't own a house, so I can't get a mortgage. But I'm just saying, this is a goddamn good team that I am really looking forward to watching play. Now I'm going to take a second to go over all of the games that are being played opening weekend. As always, I will tell you which ones are being broadcast nationally, but for the rest, check your local listings or you can always get WNBA League Pass. So opening night is Friday, May 24th. You got 2 games, 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You got the Wings at the Dream. 8 p.m. you got the Fever at the Liberty. I forgot to say that first. All of the times I mentioned are Eastern Standard Time, so be sure to adjust for your time zone. Then Saturday, May 25th, you got 3:30 p.m. on ABC, the Phoenix Mercury versus the Seattle Storm. Both of these franchises starting the season without their superstar MVP UConn graduate. It's amazing how many players in this league you can say that about. Then at 7:30 p.m. on Twitter, you got the Mystics at the Sun. 8 o'clock on ECBS, you got the Sky and the Lynx. And then Sunday at 8 p.m. on Twitter, you got the Sparks versus the Aces. If I have to pick a game of the week, definitely going to be that one. I will be watching every second of that game. So that's it for this video. If you enjoyed it, please click that like button. It would make me feel good. It's my birthday after all. You only turn 29 once, unless you got some time machine, in which case, why aren't you rich by now? If you enjoy hearing from me, be sure to subscribe. I will make more videos this year. I just don't know how many or when it happens. I'm working on a book. It's been 2 years in the making. I've got my autobiography. I've got 2 different comic book series. Hoping for a July release, which is coming up soon. I've got a few things to take care of, but my nose is to the grindstone. Hopefully when those come out, you'll be willing to buy a copy. But I'd love to hear from you. Feel free to leave a comment down below. Tell me everything that I said that you agree with, and tell me all the ways that I was wrong. And just until the next time you see me in a video, whenever that might happen to be, this has been The Fan Perspective. I am your host, Nathan Lyle. Hope you have a great week, month, year, whatever. It's 1 o'clock on a Sunday. I thought it would be quiet and I'd be able to just get this done and over with really quick. I don't know if you heard that, but I got neighbors fighting downstairs. A lot of screaming, yelling, shit being thrown around. So I gotta wait for them to finish before I can finish filming this video. Gotta love living in an apartment.